So a few weeks ago, I went with family and friends to Universal Studios in Florida. It was a really fun time, and one thing I became incredibly impressed with was my 14-year-old son, who gave me permission to tell this story. We went to various parks for several days, and some parks open earlier than others. Typically, we were getting up at 6 a.m. to get to the park early to go on some of the rides, or line up before the lines got too crowded. We'd often spend the entire day there, not leaving till 9, 10, or later in the evening to get back to the hotel. Now, after maybe 3 days, my partner and I were over it. We're not really roller coaster fans, but I watched my son drag himself out of bed every morning at 6 a.m. to get to the park early to experience a new day of rides and fun. Now on day 4, I was sure that he would bail on getting up another day at 6 a.m. I mean, come on, teenagers, right? Yeah. But at 6 a.m., he dragged himself out of bed once more and had another day of full day of fun. Now, this was repeated on day 5 too, because he was headed to Epic Universe and he wanted to get there early to get in line for that Harry Potter ride. That if you don't get in line for like straight away, you're not going to get on it for the day. So this made me think of 2 things. The first thing was, to be young again and to be able to withstand the G-forces of being able to ride roller coasters. Am I right? Yeah, right. And the second was the theme of today's talk, which is on resilience. Resilience isn't just the idea of bouncing back. When we think of resilience in terms of being radical resilience moves beyond where we once may have been. Instead, it encourages us to use the adversity that we may have experienced as a catalyst for the growth and transformation, leading to a new normal that is even stronger and more meaningful. This theme is echoed in the book The Wounded Storyteller by Arthur Frank. 3 scenarios that he shares includes the first, where someone is going through their life, experiences a crisis, gets help for the crisis, and then returns to life as normal. The second is that after the crisis, the person begins spiraling even more, and life gets even more unmanageable. But the third is where, after the crisis occurs, that person not only learns from that experience, but finds a transformation has occurred and returns not just to their ordinary life, but with a new perspective and understanding of themselves and the world around them due to that transformation. The reality is that we all experience proverbial roller coasters in our lives, even ones that blindside us or throw us off and have the potential to leading us to sink or swim. It may take time for us to adjust to these proverbial roller coasters, and over time, just like the Arthur Frank book, we may settle into a new normal that feels similar to how things used to be. Or we may struggle with these new blindsiding events like scenario 2 and begin spiraling. Or we may face these events head on, even if they are throwing us around, and come out of this experience somewhat or completely transformed. The truth is, when life throws us curveballs, none of these scenarios are wrong. We all come with different experiences, different coping strategies, and different skills and abilities. And most importantly, how we learn to build up resilience includes by doing a phrase that I like to use quite a bit, which is facing things, and face it till we make it. There's a formula that shares the 7 C's of resilience, but there's one that I just added because it's not in the original 7 C's, so I'm going to add that one. So it'll be like the 8 C's of resilience with my addition. And the addition I have made is choice. taken from a book I've read recently called The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. It reminds us that we always have a choice, and that there is power in the choices that we make. Every day we're faced with choices, some big and others that might seem trivial. The let them theory encourages us to let go of the need to control everything around us and instead focus on what we can control, our responses. Now, Robbins suggests that instead of resisting challenges, we should let them happen. This doesn't mean being passive or letting others walk all over us. Rather, it's an active acceptance of our circumstances. By acknowledging the reality of our situation, we empower ourselves to choose how we respond. There is resilience in being able to take our power and hold on to it, making decisions that will continue to empower us rather than throwing our power away once more at the things that tried to take our power in the first place. Now, from a recovery perspective, the journey of overcoming substance or alcohol use can at times be challenging. It can be common to feel struggles if we have cravings or difficult areas coming up related to grief, trauma, or mental health, or other things. However, embracing the let them theory means recognizing that these challenges are part of our life and our life experience. And letting ourselves feel whatever may be coming up for us without letting those feelings define us is a meaningful part of this journey. Recovery is a path that requires resilience, and each choice made in the face of adversity can lead to growth. So now, getting to the original 7 C's of resilience, the first one that they list is commitment. Just like in Joseph Campbell's Monomyth, the hero in the story struggles with accepting the path that they're being called to, but ultimately begins their journey anyway. This path is not easy, and commitment can wax and wane. And just like we say in Smart Recovery, motivation can be impacted by our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, as well as urges and cravings. Learning how to renew our need to leave behind destructive habits and embrace the changes we may need to make does take commitment, which includes working on ourselves to better understand why we do the things we do, so that we can begin to find hope in the changes that we make as we move away from these old behaviors. After all, we ain't going to get sober by trying to do the same things that we did when we were drinking, using, or doing other unhealthy behaviors. Am I right? Yes. Right. The second C is confidence. Many of us may have had life experiences that have led us to feeling less than confident and unsure of ourselves. Looking towards something to guide us on our journeys can be meaningful. Whether that's a set of disciplines, such as the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, a meaningful mantra or phrase that we use to help us in our decision-making, such as, what is the next right thing to do? Or whether that is God, by whatever name we may call it. Confidence can be found in those things that encourage us, support us, and help us remember that our experiences do not have to define us. I'm reminded of a reading we had before this message from 2 Corinthians that says, We've been surrounded and battered by troubles, but we're not demoralized. We're not sure what to do, but we know God knows what to do. We've been spiritually terrorized, but God hasn't left our side. We've been thrown down, but we haven't been broken. Recognizing that we have something in the form of community and higher power that supports and encourages us can help us find the confidence and let go of our self-doubt. Letting go of self-doubt and embracing our worthiness are critical actions we can take as we learn with humility the lessons our past may have taught us, so we can move into the next chapter of our stories with confidence. Number 3 on this list is control. As I mentioned earlier, the let them theory reminds us of the need to let go of our need to control what's around us, and instead focus on what we can control, ourselves and our responses. Life is unpredictable, and trying to control what's not in our control can lead to frustration, remorse, regret, or a feeling of helplessness, which can bring us down rather than build the resilience that we are looking for. Also, success in recovery can bring about mixed reactions. Some may celebrate our victories, while others may feel threatened or envious. Resilience lies in recognizing that we cannot control how others perceive our recovery journeys, or our successes, or our growing areas. Instead, we must focus on our own growth and progress. This also reminds me of the people version of the Serenity Prayer, which reads, God grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change, the courage to change the one that I can, and the wisdom to know that one is me. The 4th C is challenge. Recovery is filled with challenges, but they can be opportunities for growth. Embracing the challenges of recovery helps us develop resilience and learn valuable lessons about ourselves and the world around us. Each obstacle we overcome helps us build resilience, and to use a clinical term, distress tolerance, strengthening and preparing us for future trials. Connection is the 5th C. Now, this can relate to a number of things, and not least a connection to ourselves. When we make choices that align with our values and desires for a healthier life, we reinforce our resilience. Each act of self-care, every moment of connection with others, and each choice to engage in healthy behaviors contributes to our recovery journeys. They may not always be celebrated by some around us, but they build a path towards a more resilient and hope-filled future. Building supportive relationships is also crucial in recovery. We need a community that understands our struggles and encourages us on our journey. I'm not talking about acquaintances, but I'm talking about people who we know we can truly rely on. We build these relationships by actively engaging with these people. In recovery, we find strength in sharing experiences and mutual support. Our shared experiences bring us together. Connection is also about that which we call our higher power, the recognition that whatever it is, we will look to it for guidance. If we will only be able to find that guidance from it, or we will only pay attention to it if we work to build a relationship with it. So another thing I frequently say is, say you're standing with a group of friends and we need some advice. Whose advice are you more likely to take? The person who is your best friend, or the people you don't know so well? Probably our best friend, right? Because we have a relationship with them based on trust. Even if all of the advice that is offered to us is good, we'll still listen to our best friend over some of those other people. Because we trust them, because we've built a relationship with them. And this is the same with whatever our higher power is. If we talk to it but don't listen to it, then it's a one-way relationship. Trust is found in mutual connection, and the mutual connection that we have with it. And when we recognize that it does want something more for us than we want for ourselves, as step 3 would say in tough situations, we would do what it wants for us, rather than at times our impulsive actions. Because trust begins to be formed with it, just like it may be with our best friend. 6 is contribution, engaging in acts of service. During our recovery journey, not only aids others, but also enhances our sense of purpose. Helping others can reinforce our own resilience and remind us of the positive impact that we can have on the world. By focusing on how we can contribute, we shift our attention from our struggles to the hope that we can bring to others. Now, this can help us learn self-confidence as well as humility. Even something as simple as letting someone know that they're not the only person who has made a particular mistake can be an act of service that can help that person dispel shame that they may be feeling. And finally, we arrive at coping. Developing healthy coping strategies is essential in recovery. These might include prayer, meditation, music, hobbies, exercise, seeking professional help, or other positive things. By establishing positive coping mechanisms, we equip ourselves to manage stress and to navigate the complexities of recovery, especially if we're faced with those proverbial roller coasters that I mentioned earlier, like financial stresses, guilt, shame, trauma, grief, mental health, or other things. So as we look at these 7 C's of resilience: commitment, confidence, control, challenge, connection, contribution, and choice, plus the additional one I mentioned of coping, and the additional one I mentioned of choice, we can come to recognize that they are essential tools for anyone on the path of recovery. By integrating these principles, we empower ourselves to embrace our worth and navigate our healing journeys with hope and strength. Remember, resilience, and especially radical resilience, is not just about enduring, it's about thriving. As we support one another in cultivating resilience, let us hold on to the promise that with commitment to recovery, we can overcome any challenge that comes our way. Amen.